Everybody, it's Lex from PDQ.com. Yeah, it's a little cold today. Wore a jacket, well, of course, shorts. Going to take you guys through migrating. Yep, we're all heading down south to Arizona. Okay, migrating PDQ, deploying inventory databases to new hardware. You know, good days happen, you get some new hardware, or you just want to put it on a new VM. I'm going to show you how to do it. So let's jump in. All right, can't have the discussion about moving data without first talking about backups. I mean, I'd be negligent not to, right? So the nice thing here in PDQ deploying inventory is if you go to options, preferences, database, surprise, I already had it there. Backups. Now I've enabled auto backups, which you should do. At this point, I can just hit a backup now and it's going to back up, you know, make a backup of the database right now, right here for us. With that, Jordan, do you have any suggestions on best practices when it comes to backups?
I guess the first one is a common sense one of don't have your backup to the same machine that the device is on.
Yeah, that is a good point. So don't do it like I've got here.
Yeah, well, we're a lab environment. We have to for example purposes.
A good point.
And the other one is, depending on the size of your database, you want to make sure you have good retention policies so you're not keeping stuff you don't need to keep.
Okay. This one's set up, I've got 10, and it backs up on Saturday at 10 p.m., so once a week. So I got 10 weeks of backups.
Yeah, I mean, that seems reasonable to me. Like, every environment's going to be different. You don't know how often you're making changes. If it's something you're rarely making changes, then you could probably stretch that out. But yeah, just know what's best for you, I guess.
Now, good thing here, I'm going to click on this folder. It's going to open up, and you're going to see, check it out. I did clean this out this morning. There's one from November 28th. So there's that Saturday backup, 10 o'clock. And then I did one at 8:30 this morning to make sure everything was going to the right place. And there's the one I just did at 10:02. Isn't that great? 1002, and it was run at 10:02. Kind of cool, huh? Tell where it went? When it was run?
No.
Okay, we got the backup now. And I'm feeling a little better about things so that I can start messing with databases. The process I'm going to show you, there's a couple of different ways to go about this. There's my way, which is always the best way if you're me. And then there's, Jason Hanks has got a great knowledge base, and I'll take you through that one too. And they're both equally good. So I'll take you through both of those. Now, the process is pretty much the same on deploy and inventory. I'm just going to do deploy because, I mean, let's admit it, you guys have seen me click and type and would be here all day if I had to do everything twice. So anyway, first things, let's go find our database. Now, I was right where I needed to be, but I'm good at closing stuff down today. So the database is located C programs, program data, AdminArsenal. So I'm going to go and open that folder, and there it is. That's database DB. It is important to know that your inventory database and your deploy database are named the same. The obviously difference is the location. This is the deploy database. It's obviously located in program data, AdminArsenal deploy. There it is. To do a migration, you're going to need to migrate it to a new machine, and it's always good. In this case, well, it's necessary to make sure you install deploy and inventory on the new machine. And the new machine we're going to do is Allen Rails. I just installed deploy and inventory on that this morning. It is the latest and greatest release, so I like to think it's a good idea to make sure, where I'm coming from, where I'm going to match. Are there cases when they don't have to match? Jordan?
Well, our update tool with a new database has been very accurate in my experience when I test those things. So best case is having to be the same version, but if you install the latest and greatest on the new one and just copy it over, it should update everything on the database the first time you open it up. But I mean, why add the extra risk?
Yeah. All right. So
you can doesn't mean you should.
There you go. Okay. As long as you're moving up, you probably can do it and be okay. I would upgrade the one before you move it. And then, all right, just so you guys know, check it out. Deploy, no packages. Check it out. Sign up for the webcast. I always turn that off during webcast. You don't have to see it. So, this is a fresh install of PDQ deploy on Allen Rails. Let me squeeze that back down. And of course, if I need to keep that open, I move this, you'll notice I've got 7-zip Adobe Flash, Chrome, so on and so forth in my repository and in my database on the one on Guinness. So we're going to be migrating from Guinness to Allen Rails. So to do that, obviously I'm going to copy that database over. So I'm going to open up another file window or file explorer. I am going to open another file explorer. Okay, I'll take one that's already open and pointed at Allen Rails. Rails. Spelling does matter. Okay, there's the C drive, and on Allen Rails, it's going to be in the same spot. Program data, AdminArsenal, deploy. There it is. Now, the database here, again, I did install that. We'll notice the difference, so I need to move A to B. Now, if I copy the database right now, I very well could have a problem. Any ideas why I might have that problem, Jordan?
Copy database while the process is running, the background process?
There you go. There you go. I haven't stopped the services on Allen Rails. So to do that, we go over to Allen Rails, and I'm just going to stop that. We're going to open services. Check it out. There's PDQ deploy and inventory. They are running. You'll notice right here. They're running. I am so bad with this highlighter. Honestly, JJ, you should take it away from me.
You tried. I think that's all that matters.
Right click. I'm going to stop the background service. Okay, this is going to release that database so I can do some work with it. In the event that you try to copy it over, odds are you're probably going to get an error. The file's in use, and there's a possibility you could corrupt that database. So
just out of curiosity, what if you ran the backup and then used that backup in the new machine?
I'm going to do that, dude.
Okay, I'm sorry. I don't mean to step
You're
on
a little
your toes.
excited, are you?
Am I jumping the gun?
You're a little excited. We're going to get you there. We're doing my method, which is just, copy, and then we'll do the restore method.
Okay.
All right, so the service is stopped. There's the database on deploy. Let me make sure I'm in the right spot, because heaven forbid. There it is, Allen Rails. Now, I'm going to move this. I'm going to actually rename it. The reason I'm going to rename it is so that we can put everything back. And if you notice, I tried to spell old with a K and some squiggly lines. Old, there we go. I'm going to move that so I can put that back so when we do the second version, I don't have to rebuild the database. And then I'm just going to copy, paste, drag and drop. There it is. Boom, boom. All right, so at this point, now I can go and fire up services disconnected, exit application, close it for me. And I'm going to go run deploy. And we should see it come up with 7-zip and Google and all the things that I had downloaded. It should show up because that database has been moved.
Since it's not me in front of the camera, should means it's probably going to work.
Ooh. It is and it's not.
Oh.
So here's the thing. It did. It came up. There's 7-zip. Okay. The issue you're going to run into is this.
Install files.
The install files didn't get moved. So the database moved, but the install files did not. And as soon as this gets a moment to update, it's going to come back. You need to get a bunch of warning signs saying, hey, I don't know where the install files are. So we still have to move the install files, which we will do. At this point, that is my method copying over the database. One other caveat with that, okay? Copy that database over, okay? Security-wise, your database decrypts the credentials from a key in your registry. And that registry key on Guinness is going to be different than the registry key on Allen Rails. So at this point, if I want to use this, it's going to come up and prompt me to put passwords back in. I will show you how to move that registry key over so you don't have to do that momentarily. Do we want to? Oh, go ahead.
I think if you don't have a lot of credentials, it's just better to redo it. But
there you go.
I'd rather retype in my credentials than mess with registry
copies.
Yeah.
I agree with you definitely. Before I put this back and we show you the big database restore and then I take you through the registry and the rest of that, do we have a question that I should hit? Okay.
Dear Lex, I recently migrated to Central Server for both programs, and it works great. Depending on my location, I will use my laptop using client mode and my normal AD account, or RDP directly into the server with my admin account. This causes license warnings in the app. Does Scout's Honor apply here? Thanks, Jeff P.
Well, Jeff, if you've got one license, okay, and let's say you've got the console opened on the server, and then you open the console on your laptop and it's pointing to the server, now you have two running instances. Easiest thing to do, every time you leave the server, just shut down the console, and then your laptop in client mode will be the only one machine or one license being used at that point. So that's that. Now, if you want to do 2, by all means, buy more. I'm happy to sell you more.
So he's not breaking licensing as it is one admin for
Exactly.
the one license, but since there's 2 different credential sets, it's registering that way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. While that, thank you for that. While I reset this, I'm going to pop up a knowledge base article by Mr. Hanks, restore or move a database from a backup. This article is amazing, Hanks. Good job, buddy. I like this because it's easy to follow and there's pictures for those of us who are illiterate.
That's always nice.
Always nice.
Always
Just
nice.
kidding. The instructions are epic. Let me go reset this. So to reset this, I'm going to close down deploy. I am going to go stop the service. I'm going to go back to my Allen Rails. There it is. I'm going to delete the database that I copied over. I am going to rename the old database so that we get back to Freshy Fresh database. Yeah, change it. And we will start it up again to verify that it is our Freshy. And then we'll talk about restoring a backup. Jeopardy music, Jordan?
I honestly am drawing a blank on the Jeopardy music.
Dun, dun, dun.
There
Come
it
on,
is.
man.
That's about all you can sing without us getting a.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I get in trouble for doing that? Okay.
Not really, because
Almost
since you
Jeopardy
can't
music.
carry a tune, they don't realize what you're trying to sing. So I think we're good.
It's off tune. Okay. All right, we're back. Freshy fresh. Nothing in there. No 7-zip. All right. Nothing up my sleeve. What, are you laughing at that?
I just like the idea you're keeping digital files up your sleeves now.
Well, you know, I'm special that way. At least my mom always called me special. All right, if you look here on Allen Rails, right, you've got a backup folder, right? And then if I pull up the same thing on Guinness, we have the backup folder, and there are the backups that we ran this morning. I am going to run a couple of these over there. We'll take the one from 11/28, and we'll take the one from this morning, and we're just going to copy those to the backup folder on the other, on Allen Rails. So now my backups have been moved. So again, install, deploy an inventory. Copy your backups over into the backup directory. Okay, minimize this. You know, last time I was doing this, I opened and closed the file folder so many times, I burnt probably 2 minutes for people watching me open and closing folders. And I'm doing pretty good today.
All right. Well, one thing, if you are keeping your backups on somewhere that's not your local machine, like a file share, you might not even need to copy them. You just have to point to the file share.
I see how you are.
I'm
Making it efficient.
just trying to help you keep your data safe.
Thanks. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, we're going to do this from a command prompt. So to do that, go to help. And it's going to be an elevated command prompt. Give that an OK. And the nice thing is it drops you right where you need to be. If you type in PDQ deploy, since we are going to be restoring deploy, it's going to give you all your options. And right here, restore database. Can you guys even see that? I'm doing highlight on black. Probably not. Anyhow.
Yeah, we can see it.
Did it show? All right. So I need to do PDQ deploy and restore database. Now, I do want you to notice PDQ deploy is running in the background. Okay. So PDQ deploy, restore data, BASE. There we go. Restore. Nope, I still didn't spell it right.
Got that E.
You forgot the E.
You even practiced that.
What I'm enjoying about this, Lex is saying he prefers his method, and it makes sense now. It's the GUI method versus the command line method.
Click and drop versus type. Okay. Less chance for me to make errors. You know, if I could flip you off right now, I would.
Aren't you a Linux guy by default?
Yeah.
Okay.
The nice thing is get tab and it fills everything in for me. Okay. I'm running a restore. Thank you for derailing my train, Jordan. I'm running a restore database. You'll notice it says, hey, console appears to be open. Should we kill it? I'm a nicer, kinder Lex than I've ever been, so I don't believe in killing stuff, but we should stop it. So I'll give it a yes. Hit enter. Deploy background service appears to be running. Should we stop the background service? Yes to that one. And now, there we go. It's now going to bring up all the backups that I have available. You'll notice there's the one from 11/28. There's the one from this morning at 8:24. There's the one from 942 and the one that I did from 1002. Notice I pointed that out so we knew which one. I need number 4. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. There it is. So I'm going to put in a 4, hit enter. Restoring the database, done. Well, that seemed pretty easy.
Pretty quick, yeah.
Short of the typing, I think I did pretty good on that.
Yeah, and that's where if you had changed your backup to the file share, it would have pulled everything from there instead of looking at the default. It does pull from the settings of your current running version.
Absolutely. All right, firing this up. Any chance I actually did this correct?
I give you 60%.
That's it?
Yeah.
Come on, I'm following Hanks's instructions. It should be.
Yeah. 95.
There it is. There they are. Okay, now we need to copy over the registry, the repository. So I'm going to go to repository. You'll notice the location of the repository. And it just so happens I did copy these this morning. They shouldn't have been there, guys. I tested this. This is what it's going to look like.
I guess
You're not going to have anything out
that explains why you didn't get the errors.
I'm wondering why that didn't show up. Well, this is what it should look like after you do it for the first time. There's the warning signs I was telling you about. Again, I'm going to just jump back over here. I've got my Allen Rails machine. I'm going to go to the location of these are under the C drive, users, public. And again, I don't have to type this. Clicking is preferred method for me. Public documents, AdminArsenal, deploy repository. Same thing here. C drive, users, public. It's a good thing I can read, just not fast. AdminArsenal. Come on, where's the abuse?
So I think I've given you enough. On this one. So I think this is another one where I know it's a one note that I keep it going to, but if your repository was also in a file share, there'd be no need to copy.
Exactly, and apparently I deleted the wrong files. I deleted the ones off Guinness, guys. So there's nothing to move. So at this point, what you would do is just re-download those. Normally you just copy those over. Apparently I deleted the wrong files this morning. Anywho, wow. Chalk went up for me, totally messing this up prior, but...
See, and that's why I wasn't saying anything mean. You do enough to yourself.
Ouch. It's
We
harsh.
don't even have a Colby right now to pull you out of this, man.
Yeah.
What are the
Colby's
chances that I actually
on here.
downloaded this stuff and actually put it on DFS earlier?
He's answering some questions in the chat.
Oh, okay.
Colby's
Because
busy.
Yeah, he left the audio. He just straight up bailed.
He bailed. He saw how bad I was doing. He's like, I'm out.
He saw the writing on the wall.
Doesn't want his name tied to this.
All right.
Absolutely.
So this is the point where I'm going to start plugging videos on how to do this so you can actually see it done properly, because at this point, guys, there's nothing I can do except download a new file and move it over for you, because...
So the quickest and easiest way that's all going to be is if you have everything not local in a file share, then just on the new machine, you just have to point to the new location. There's no copying of anything. It's just...
Exactly.
It'll pull those automatically when it creates the package. Or
Let's
moves
see
it
if
over.
I've got web. Was it webcast? I can't even remember. Anyway, that is the best. This is a good time if you are going to migrate and you want to move stuff to a file share, move it to the file share and point it. So, thank you. I think to avert my shame, let's do some questions.
yeah, I'll do the question, but that's not going to avert the shame. Dear Lex, what are the recommended specs when installing on a Hyper-V VM? Sincerely, Gandalf T.
Well, Gandalf, that really depends on your environment, how many end nodes you're using, maintaining your network. It's kind of a scientific wild calculation, some swags you're going to have to do. There is a video on best practices that takes you through those. So depending on the number of machines, things you're going to want to consider is the number of deployments you're doing, how often your heartbeat runs, those kind of things. I would highly suggest you check out the best practices videos on inventory and deploy. That'll take care of you there.
I think it's safe to, with the latest release, you're going to need a lot less specs than you would.
Absolutely. The latest release has done some amazing things with the performance. So
The main thing that you'll want is to make sure your storage is SSD based. If you're running off of a hard drive, you're probably going to have a bad time.
He
You're
came,
gonna have a bad time.
came
Not
back just to
gonna
give
have
us
a
some
good time.
knowledge, and he's gone again.
And boom. Should we do another question?
That was the ghost of Colby past or future, present. Anyway.
Present, future?
Hey guys, any problems with migrating PDQ from Windows 10 to a server OS? Sincerely, Dean Martin.
No. Again, a couple of things. If there's an SSD drive, you're going to notice some good performance stuff. Servers do handle more network connections better, so you might gain some performance there. I mean, I would say have at it.
Yeah, as long as your permissions are all the same.
Yeah, yeah. All right, let's talk about. Remember, I was talking about that security key. Now that I've messed that up, let's go work in the registry. It's a good place
Yeah.
to go after you've really messed things
We
up.
can't trust you not to delete random files, but you're safe to just go right into the registry.
Willy-nilly into the registry. So let's do it. Okay, Allen Rails. Reg edit. Boom. There it is. Hey, surprise, surprise. So HKey local machine software, AdminArsenal, that's where we're going to be working. And I'm going to do the same thing on Guinness so that we can see deploy, see, check it out, security key right there. Okay, let's go pull up the one in on Guinness. Whoops, same, check it out. Security key, AC, and let's see if I can get this down so we can see this. So we got AC 85 something, 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 and then 2A9C. So you can see those keys are different. They're not, unless those keys match what the database needs, it's not going to be able to decrypt your
I was
credentials.
going to say, are we just putting this up on screen for anyone at home that wants to decrypt our credentials here?
There you go. The good thing is that the full thing is there. And since I have such good confidence in my ability to copy and paste, I'm not messing with it, guys. Not going to do it. All right? In this case, because I don't trust myself to actually copy this over properly, if I were to run on Allen Rails, I just have to put in the passwords for my credentials. That's how you would do it. Colby, the ghost of Colby future. Any comments on the registry?
We stumped him.
Just always be careful. Make a backup first, and you like export the key and whatnot. But things can go very bad very quickly.
And as we can tell today, I'm not touching this, guys. I'm just not doing it. Not going to do
The
it.
important takeaway is whether it's past, present, or future, Colby's smarter than we are.
Yeah,
So
that's a
he
good point.
could be any one of those ghosts. It doesn't matter.
He's Omni Colby.
Omni Colby. Do we have any more questions? Because I do want to show you guys how to move a database from one disk drive to another disk drive on the same machine. So let's say, Colby was just mentioning SM.
SSD.
Thank you. Oh my goodness. Maybe you want to come up and do this?
That
'Cause-
stands for solid state.
It's a fast drive.
I told you guys I loved you today.
All right, well, I do have a question of my
There's
own.
a reason.
What happens if you delete all of the package information from the wrong machine?
What happens? What you saw today, and then you just have to re-download stuff. Thank you very much. Do we got to do any questions
Yeah, let's
before
take a
I
question.
gamble at moving this on another drive?
Yeah, sure. Let's go ahead. I use one set of credentials for scanning and deploy and another set for inventory due to firewall restrictions. I currently have a feature request in with the manufacturer. I have the default user set correctly in both inventory and deploy, but I frequently get failures because it is using the wrong credentials. Any tips? Brian.
So my first question is, are you getting failures on the deploy or the scan? Because if the scan's working every time, there's a setting where you could say use scan credentials where the deploy will use your inventory credentials.
You went right where I was going. So that the setting Jordan was talking about is deployments. Where is that?
Yeah, so if you're using that and it's not working, then there's got to be something.
I know on the deployment, let me just pop, let's say we were going to deploy 7-zip, and it could do it because I have a package that actually would work, but right here, use inventory scan credentials. This is hard to do when you don't have, and I ruin the packages, but let's, I'm going to download something just so I have something if we do need it. Boom, there we go.
Yeah, so I think with that one, it'll use your credentials for the background service and everything for deploy, but when it actually does the deployment itself, it will use whatever inventory. it has.
Inventory credentials, that's correct. Very correct. Any, you want another question before I attempt at making myself look like a bigger fool than I already am?
Yeah, let's do one more. Dear Lex and Jordan, how do you handle license transfer during this migration? Sincerely, Jason.
License transfer. Okay, I would do this. Again, when you install, you can just paste that license in. Again, copy, paste. Or you'll notice right here, there's your license. Copy that registry key over. And I believe that'll work.
Are you going to do that one live?
No, I'm not. I'm batting. They're going to bench me here. I'm going to swing one more swing for the fence here. This isn't going to be the swing for the fence. So that should be able to take care of you, I believe. Colby, any thoughts on that?
Nope.
Okay.
I mean,
Hey.
that means we did it right.
We did it right. No, either that or he's so ashamed. He's just like, no, you guys just.
He's checked out.
Okay. So I've got a community post here from Adam. This was 7 years ago, still pertinent date on how to actually move your database from one drive to another. Again, I'm moving to an SSD drive, not an SMB drive, an SSD drive, although you do need SMB to. Anyway, so follow these instructions. We're going to do it. I am actually going to follow these instructions because so far today I'm swinging and missing. So close the console. Alan Rails. Console, close. Actually, you know what? Let's do it with inventory. We'll do it with inventory just because I think I've screwed up enough with deploy. Inventory, 36 machines. Yep, all right. Okay, I did scan this earlier. So close the console, boom. Next, stop the inventory service. I am following the instructions. Inventory service is now stopped. Copy the database to the new location. Fair enough.
This Adam guy sounds like he really knows what he's doing with these products.
You know, I'm pretty sure he does. Inventory database. There it is. Copy.
That's funny. That's from 7 years ago, too.
7 years ago. Ghost of Adam passed.
Yeah.
We're going to put it on my new E drive. I made a database directory DB, and I'm going to paste it in right there. Okay. There it is. Now what? Nope, wrong thing. Create the above registry key and point it to the new database file. Fair enough. Anybody here hesitant about me hacking the registry?
I mean, at this point, it feels like you gotta.
Absolutely.
So my question is, while you're running through that, at this point, wouldn't it be easier just to do the backup, uninstall it, do a fresh install on the new drive, and then just import that backup, like with Jason Hank's method?
Well, I don't think you can, and here's why. If you look, and I'm pulling this up because this is the one running on Guinness. If you go to Options and Preferences under Database, right here where it says the database is located, I can't change that. So restoring it from a different look, I don't think you can do it. And I think it's because the registry is where it's going to be looking. So
Okay.
that's my thought. I could be wrong. Adam, if you're listening, Colby, if you know any different, please let us know. All right, so it says I need to go to inventory settings. Was it database? Inventory settings, database, and I need to make a new key called file name, a string value called file name. Fair enough. New string value, file name. Now I do know spelling's important. I think I spelled that right. And then we need to put the location of our database as that. And I think it's on E, DB. And I think I need to put the name of the database. Database.
I think everyone is nervous for you on this process.
Is everyone as nervous as me? Mm-hmm. I think I'm feeling. All right, that looks like it might work. Oh, nope, I didn't spell it right. Caught it early. All right, if it doesn't work, guys, we're going to jump into the troubleshooting portion of today's thing.
Would you say with registry that typos are critically bad?
No, man.
No.
Have at it. Nothing bad can go wrong when you work with the registry. I am so confident. I'm leaving that open.
Okay.
So I can fix it. All right. We're taking bets, guys. Do you think it worked? Anybody? Jake? JJ?
I'm with you. I'm gonna say yes.
Jake's got my back. Okay, I double-clicked inventory starting. I'm not seeing any error messages come up. I'm feeling more confident.
I feel like at this point you're starting to trample on my lack of confidence shtick.
Okay, it opened. Now let's go see if that database has been relocated. Options, preferences, database. There it is. I did it. Apparently I can follow instructions.
All right.
Poorly, but I did it. Okay, that's how you're going to move your database to a different drive. All right, I mean...
It's so simple, even Lex can do it.
That should be on a
Yes,
t-shirt.
it is.
That's even saying something.
Thank you, guys. I got all your backs.
Lex, I had your back.
Thank you, Jake. Do we have any more questions?
Yeah, we have.
Because I'm going to go out on a high note at this point where I'm not doing any more.
You know what doesn't have Lex's back? Gravity.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That's right.
No, actually, it did.
It did. Christmas lights. The ladder didn't.
Clark Griswold situation. Yeah, let's do a speed round, yeah?
Okay.
All right. Dear Lex, hypothetically, if one were to copy the wrong database to the other AdminArsenal folder, since it's named the same and it's the holidays and we might be slightly whiskey buzzed during after-hours maintenance, what happens? Explosion or just errors? Sincerely, Omar P.
I like to, at this moment, quote Ghostbusters. Mass hysteria, cats and dogs living together. Now, it's going to throw an error and say the database is not compatible, and just copy the correct database in. You'll be all right.
Yeah, it's not going to make any permanent changes to
I
your
am
environment.
telling you right now from experience, okay? It's not that big a deal. Just put the right one back after you do it.
I've made that mistake multiple times in one sitting, and I was sober.
Yep.
We have another hypothetical here. So let's hypothetically pretend that every single one of the packages I've created over the last year calls for files in user profiles. Is there a good way to move that to a network location in preparation for keeping this more network friendly when we add a license, my IT counterpart to the fray? Jeff P.
Okay, so they're in your user profile?
Or is it the user profile on the machines you're deploying to? Because
Yeah.
it won't matter if it's on the machines you're deploying to.
I will say
They
this. If you got
clarified in the
custom-
chat.
Oh, go ahead.
They clarified in the chat. It's in their profile, not
their
user
profile.
profiles. So I edited the question wrong.
I would highly suggest if you've got a bunch of custom files, now is a good time to start using variables
Yes.
for your paths. Because then, you can move those, change the variable for the path, and it changes for all of those. It's going to be some work. I've done this before. I would highly suggest that you put a custom folder in your repository folder and put your stuff there. But
So you can build out like a spreadsheet of variables to go faster and then use the import tool and just have that file in that location and have it go through and build the variables after the fact.
yeah.
Instead of doing each package individually, that might save you some time. But with hundreds of packages, you're in for some typing.
In for some typing. So variables are under options, variables. And again, import tool will get those in for you.
Dear Lex and Jordan, how can we speed up the responsiveness between PDQ and DNS? It's taking a long time for PDQ to recognize computers. Sincerely, Darren B.
Speed it up between DNS?
So
I don't know. Caching it local, having a local cache should speed that up, but it's got to be an accurate cache.
Yeah, so if it's running slow enough for you to notice, it makes me think that there's something wrong. That might be a ticket
Yeah.
with support, and they can take a look into it. Because I don't think there should be a massive delay on that one.
Yeah, so here's the thing. All PDQ deploy and inventory are doing is just, asking DNS for an answer. So if the response is coming back slow from DNS, one, flush your cache local, see if that helps. Check how dirty your DNS is. I mean, we've got some good videos on scavenging and that. And then if you're still seeing some issues, hit up support.
Actually, hold up. Let me grab the next one. Okay, here we go. Dear Lex, is there a way to optimize PDQ connecting to a computer? It's taking us about a minute to connect before each scan or package runs. J. Davis.
I would do this under options, preferences, and you can do this on both. It would be ping before deployment. Okay. The nice thing about a ping before deployment, it doesn't just try and send the package in deploy's case. It's going to ping if it's there then it's going to try to deploy the package. Otherwise, just try and do that. Same thing with the scan, ping before scanning. And then, obviously your offline, the offline ones won't sit and wait, hoping that it's going to go, it'll ping and move on. That's probably the first thing. Any other thoughts on that, Jordan?
That was the first thing that popped in my head. I can't think of anything past that.
Yeah. Colby, any thoughts?
Yeah, actually, what I would recommend is go to the Performance tab in Preferences. And then under the Service Manager TCP connection, make sure that is disabled. And then you do have to restart the computer that deploy and inventory are running on, because this option here actually makes changes to the Windows. I can't remember. I think it's the Service Manager service.
Mm-hmm.
I think the name might be slightly different, but it actually changes the Windows service. So that's why we have warnings here about this will affect other applications on your computer. But I have noticed, if I remember correctly, it's a bug in Windows 10 within the last couple of years,
Mm-hmm.
where if this is set to default, then deploy and inventory will sit there for 45 seconds to a minute before connecting. But if you change it to disabled, they will connect after just a couple seconds.
Question, Colby, is there a downside to disabling that?
As far as I'm aware, no. I have it disabled on all of my machines.
Any issues
There's
if
the
you're jumping
potential for it
multiple
to
domains?
conflict with certain applications, but I'm not aware of any off the top of my head.
I heard somewhere, and this is just I heard, there might be issues jumping domains, multiple domains. I don't know how it works, so that's something I heard. So
So I guess the answer is then, if you're not jumping multiple domains, uncheck that. and
I
see
could
how
be
it
wrong
goes.
about the multiple domains things, but it's something I heard. So again, just
I
try
guess,
it.
Yeah, try it either way. If you're seeing more issues, then it's probably the domain. But single domain, I bet that'll fix it.
Can you set your own timeout?
You can. Right there, timeout. 21. I win. Bad joke. All right. We blew that, speed round question. What's next?
Final question of the day. Hey guys, what is the best practice to move an old installation which did not use the $share repository and all the packages have absolute paths? Marcel L.
Best practice on that? Okay, if it was me, now this is opinion at this point, because if you've got a bunch in different paths, I don't know, best practice, if it was me, okay, I would take the new repository path, I would build a custom folder in there, I would move everything to that, and then I would go through and repoint to that new location, because moving forward, it's going to be much easier to use the repository $sign. Jordan, do you have opinions on that?
There's not going to be a pleasant way to make that move.
Yeah,
It's
It's a very
there's not-
uncomfortable PowerShell, maybe.
Well, actually,
Oh,
Brett shared a link in the chat to a blog that Chris wrote several years ago about using PowerShell to update the paths.
so there is some PowerShell to make it easier.
He's probably doing SQL queries with
Yep, exactly.
Definitely is.
Okay, so PowerShell will make it a little less painful, but get it into the repository. So you got one spot, I think, is probably the takeaway from my point of view. How you get it there, PowerShell or by hand. Yeah. All right, so despite my ineptability, is ineptability a word? It is today. And deleting the wrong files earlier today.
It's 2 words.
Thank you. I appreciate. You get the idea of how to move the stuff. Again, watch the repository moves so you can actually see it happen. Thank you guys for watching. I'm Lech from PDQ.com. Happy holidays.
Thanks for joining our webcast today. Congratulations to, Darren B. and Omar P., winners of PDQ swag. Send us your info at webcast@pdq.com. And please remember, join us next week for PDQ&A. Have a fantastic week and stay safe.